a compromise of total body water. Inadvertently, you also have some compromise in oxygenation. So it all ties into the overall clinical picture. So a person with mild symptoms may not come down with the marked dehydration that you will see. You might not come down with the marked muscle cramps or muscle aches that you would expect to see, especially if the person is taking in fluids while he or she is also losing fluids.
Can these things resolve on their own? Because I know a lot of people say they don't take medication for diarrhea. They don't go to the hospital. They just wait it out.
Well, I'm on air right now, and I don't want to promote self-medication. But the World Health Organization also has a rule for the use of what we call ORS, oral radiation solution, for some cases of diarrhea, pending the time the person presents to an attending physician. So what we advise people to do is take in as much fluids, except fizzy drinks.
Okay.
That could be deleterious. Take in as much fluids as, if it's a baby, keep breastfeeding. In fact, we encourage people to keep eating.
To keep eating?
Yes. Pending the time, that's not the time to reduce your intake of fluids or even food. Of course, we have cases of people that also come down with vomiting.
Okay.
Vomiting is one of the features of cholera in some instances too. But we want you to keep on taking as much fluids as possible. And then you present to the nearest health facility. What you call mild might not be what the health care worker could call mild. So the person needs to assess you, assess your level of hydration, and then they will know what to do from then on.
You've put a lot of emphasis on, replacement of fluids.
Yes.
And I know that there's a method of fluid replacement, But which is really more dangerous? Is it the bacterium or the loss of water or whatever fluid is being lost from the body?
You see, marked loss of fluid can, damage some of the vital organs. It can cause imbalances, in the body mechanisms. So you don't want vital organs to shut down. In fact, the mainstay of treatment of any diarrheal disease, including cholera, is appropriate replacement of fluid. And there are different types of fluid. Among healthcare physicians, we know the different types of fluids that are lost and the consequence of those fluids, and then what to replace those lost fluid with.
But what is lost?
It's fluid that is water and electrolytes. And this is what we replace in the popular drip that people call drip. This is what is inside the drip. It's water. Some might contain some electrolytes based on the composition of the fluid, and a few other additives.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the fluid, the oral solution that people are taught to prepare at home, 6 teaspoons of sugar, 1 of salt, and a liter of water.
Yeah.
Is that as effective as the drip?
Well, in epidemics,
because some people love drips.
In epidemics, WHO has shown that the oral radiation solution can be life-saving. Very, very, very life-saving. So it has a role to play, especially in the early stage, in the mild cases like you alluded to at the beginning, and while the person is still on the way to the healthcare center. The person could prepare it at home, ingest it, and then present to his physician.
You once spoke to me about climate change being part of the reason for cholera. Could you explain that?
Yeah, in Bangladesh right now there is a study center for cholera, and one of their publications they talked about rising tidal sea levels as a possible additional factor for cholera. Right now, we have there have been different pandemics of cholera. We've had from the first to the 7th pandemic. The 7th pandemic started in 1961, and researchers have been studying these ongoing pandemics, and they've seen some different patterns. And what is confounding or adding to this pattern now, the operative word is could be this climate change, because this rising sea levels, admixture of water currents, the ecoflora in the sea. We have things we call planktons. that could be coated with Vibrio cholerae. These planktons are eaten by oysters. They move around. So the picture is maybe not entirely clear right now, but all these tidal waves, there's a possibility that climate change might have a role to play in what we are seeing. Right, I was
surprised to hear that there's a vaccine for cholera.
Oh, yes.
Do you encourage its use here in Nigeria?
Yeah, we have different vaccines for cholera. There's one taken by mouth, the oral vaccine. There's also the injectable one. There are different schools of thought about the efficacy of the vaccines. But the thing about vaccines is that when taken, they could also promote what we call herd immunity. Immunity, of the
general population, so to speak.
General population. So the only issue is that the different compositions, some of them last for 2 years, some last 3 years. So there's some waning immunity. So we have to consider, do we need to re-immunize? Do you need to give what we call booster doses later on along the line? What is the cost? How affordable are they? Are they available, in private centers? Is it only in government centers you can get access to it? So these are some of the questions. But I think if you wait on the scale, they will be beneficial. They will be beneficial.
Okay. Now, the cholera vaccine aside, I want to hear what your advice is for prevention of cholera. But before we answer that question, we'll take a short break. We are going on a short break. Please stay with us. We'll be back real soon.